fabric, and then we only need now to embroider, to be honest. It's not a big deal, just color the flowers, that's it. We need two types of stitches here. There is one which is called a stem stitch. We will use it to color, let's say, the stems around, and these as well, so the kind of the lines, I would say. And then the flat stitch, which is all applies to the flowers. How we kind of color, how we start the embroidery, it's always with the dark green. That's how always I start myself. So let's start with the green one. There is no knot at the end. We just start like easy, you know. We don't use knots. I don't know why. I never use knots, and then I never find out why we don't use knots. Probably it's because it's nicer and flatter when we cover it with. So don't worry. We will cover this with a flat stitch, so no one will be able to see. So that's how we start. Is like 2 stitches. So we just start in the middle, and then it will hold up. Don't worry. So it won't come out. It never came out actually for me, so it's quite strong as it is. So that's how we start. We just put the thread. Don't really kind of tear it, pull it, because I mean it will hold well, but we need to kind of keep the fabric flat as well. So that's how it starts. So I just put the needle next to it, and then take it out, and then I don't know, that's how it works. So that's the kind of the stem stitch, you see. Hope it can be seen properly. So yeah, I try to check if you see properly what I'm doing. So that's how it is. So you put it there, and then you just take it out, and then you put the next one next to it. And when you arrive to the end of this thing, it has to be quite small. You just get to the next one. You turn your fabric around, and then you just go back. So you don't put the needle up to the end, just like kind of halfway between where it goes in, and then I don't know, it's difficult to explain. And then now you have the thread coming out here, but you just put it halfway, you see. I will also upload a PDF explanation of this stem stitch. So that's how it is. And when you arrive at the end again, you just go back, and then again you have the thread coming out from the fabric there. So you just put your needle there, and then just get out halfway through, you see. So it's really easy. And then we are at the end, and then we try to be kind of conscious of the other side as well, so that it's not, I mean, you will see that these little bits will be covered, all of them. But we quite like to have these stitches to be nice and well shaped at the other side of the fabric as well. Especially if it's a tablecloth, it should look better. So again, halfway, and then you end up in the middle of the thing. And then it has to be tiny, so tiny little stitches, so that when it shapes around, when it gets to a curve, it's nice and you know, can follow the curve if it's smaller. Here you are, we are at the end again. So what I tend to do is I just kind of lead my thread through where I stitched already, so that it's nice and not messy at the back. We don't like messy at the back. So okay, then, so there is the other one. Now, that's why I quite like to go to the sides first, but it's really up to you how you do this. So again, you have the thread coming out, and halfway through you push your needle out, and tiny bit, tiny stitches, you go up to the forget-me-not flower. So again, you get to the end, you turn your fabric, and then at the back again you go through so that it's not messy, so it's nice and tidy, the reverse side as well. Okay, so that's how it looks like. Don't worry, this bit and this bit won't be seen, but you will see how we cover. So we are in the middle now. And then in the middle, again, tiny stitches all the way up through. If I'm too quick, you know, I've been doing this for years now, so if I am too quick for you, just pause the video anytime you feel like. Just pause it and then you catch up. So we start again the flat stitch, easy, as we always started. 2 little needle point, okay? And then from line to line, okay? From line to line. You see I covered the green, so the green is properly covered, so you can't see that actually it's been evergreen underneath. And the stitch is nice and flat. Try to keep an eye on the fabric so that it doesn't get pulled around. Again, when we get to the end, turn it around, right? I pull my needle and then just go through and then cut. Done. So let's move on to the yellow one. So we need the yellow one, the light yellow, and start again with 2 stitches. This side will be yellow than now. Again, try to be really close to the orange stitches, okay? So that there is no gaps. There is no little kind of gaps. You just follow the other side because you can't see the drawing anymore. So I finished at the end the yellow on the top, and then now we will do these little middle things. Also, I start in the middle. I will cover this, of course, with flat stitches. I'm sorry, it's difficult to embroider so that you see what I'm doing. So that's how it is. So I just again follow. I always do it from the side. I think that's from the side people tend to do. I always do from the side. So I just go through, follow the lines, and when I am at the end, I just carry on and go to the next one. And then I just follow the lines again. It's just a question of coloring, actually. Just with thread. And again, I follow up. You see, we are covering the little end, thread end, with the stitches. And again, a little side, and the last one. It has to be next to each other, so I can see I didn't do this that well. I could have done even closer these flat stitches so that there is no white bits left. Okay, at the end, turn around, get the needle out, and then again go through. That's it. So we're done with the yellow stitch, so we can just save this for the next embroidery project. So that's how it looks like now. So I'm done with the forget-me-not flower. I am at the very end. All the 5 petals are done. So just go through again with my needle. Okay, and then I cut, and then you see it's quite nice and tidy from the back. Let me start the other one. So how have we done? We started from another petal. That's my method actually. It can be started anyhow, anything which is comfortable for you, but that's how it's comfortable for me after so many years. That's the most time saving method of starting. So again, I quickly embroider this one, and when I got to the end, okay, so we are done. Only the tulip left, which is really great because we are almost done, really. But this is the biggest flower. So how I do, I turn the fabric around so that it's more handy on my hands. Okay, and then I just start from the top. So again, as usual, 2 stitch, and then add end at the very end. Okay, so that's how I just have a tiny bit here. Okay, and then I push my needle to the corner, and then I start to kind of follow the lines. Down there, slowly but surely. So it's gonna end up being nice, don't worry. If you are not comfortable, just take it out and start all over again, don't worry. If you don't like your stitches, it's always a good thing to start all over again. You have more practice and maybe ends up better as well, and then you are more satisfied. So here you are. So I'm just going kind of down. Really, because stitch is dense, it has to be dense. So the flat stitches has to be dense to cover the fabric. So that's why it's so time consuming. So you go down. We are almost there now. Be careful not to pull the fabric. So again, that's how we start. 2 stitches in the middle, and then we cover it. And then we cover it with flat stitches so that it can be seen. So it's almost there, the end of this part of the... And what I tend to do here is I just pull this out, turn my fabric, okay, and then I just go up from there. Okay, so you don't really need to kind of start again from the top, because you can save time and thread, and then it just, yeah, makes more sense. So again, so let's finish this. Okay, so now we are almost done. It looks quite nice, although as I said, there are some errors here I can see. So if I had more time, I would probably take this out and then start all over again. So, but otherwise it's okay. Just for a practice with you guys. You know, it's so difficult to do it with a phone recording as well. But anyway, hope you have more time. You can be maybe more accurate, cleverer than me. Oops. leave the thread flat, there is a knot somewhere at the end when you take it up. So that's how we basically we just carry on. Okay, so see you in a second. So again, don't worry if it's upside down, because that's how it's comfortable. It wouldn't be comfortable to embroider like this. So that's why I turn it around, so that it's always the most comfortable for my hands. And then also with the stitches, try to keep them like, I don't know if it's gonna be seen here now, keep them like, you know, follow the line. So this part is more dense than this one. So what I tend to do is I tend to kind of stitch this one closer. Okay, so this stitch, oh, that's a difficult word. So keep the top bit. So now I pulled the whole thing. So keep the top bit a bit closer. So if it happens to you as well, which happens to me quite often, you see, try to pull it out. So I hold this one. And then pull the thread so it doesn't pull your fabric, and then it's okay. So it's nice and flat, the fabric as well as the thread. So try to keep this bit a bit less dense, and then stitch more like in the middle, so that it's kind of follows a curve, and then it's more kind of, how to say this, it looks a tiny bit better, yeah. So it kind of follows the curve of the petal. So you should get to the end like this. So you see this part is less dense, and this part is more like closer to each other, so that when you turn it around, that's how it looks like. This is quite difficult, but with practice, of course, it would work well. So I put we are almost finished, so I quite like my scissors close to me. And again, just leave a tiny bit more space between stitches at the bottom, and then stitch them up more closer on the top. And then of course you see now my fabric is turned, so it used to be like this because I was this bit, but as I stitch it just turns in my hands, and now it's to the side, and when I finish it's gonna be all nice, and then it will look like this. Okay, so I will stitch this one now and see you in a bit. So I am done, hope you are as well. So that's how it looks like now. So this is the very last stitch. I pull it through, push it through, pull it over, and just cover it and the whole thing. And I cut it. And that's it. We are done. So be careful, yeah, when you stitch, not pull the fabric too much. But this is okay. This is, if you have a little bit of wrinkle around, that's also fine. What you can do is you can, and then I told you a couple of minutes ago, is iron the whole thing on the top. So over here, if you iron it on the top, it's gonna be even flatter, and even the fabric will be nice and flat. So well done. You've done your very first Kalocsa style Hungarian embroidery. Just send me pictures if you feel like. I would be more than happy to see your work. My email address is flowers@kristinadesign.com, or yeah, just post it on Facebook for me. This is Krisztina Design on Facebook as well. Okay, hope to see your work as soon as possible. Thank you for taking part of this. Bye now.